Scooters, skaters, toy shops full of 20-somethings plus. Why does London seem to attract these kidults? The Peter Pan wannabes who just don't want to grow up.
It's like a kid magnet, and you know, we all come looking for the mystic junk we wanted as children, and it's full of other sort of big kids, and there's lots of great shops that you can go to, like Forbidden Planet, which is just full of all the stuff that you wish existed when you were a kid.
There are a lot of shops around that are beginning to cater for it now. There's not just us. Even sort of general toy shops now are tapping into this idea that adults will buy this stuff as well.
One of my favourite toys, which they've just re-released, is this little James Bond car, and my original one died in the bath because he used to come swimming with me every night, and his little wings pop out. These were my Star Wars figures when I was a kid. I was an anally retentive child, so I wouldn't let any of the other kids play with my toys, and if anyone was foolish enough to come near them, I would probably hit them. So luckily for me, all my toys are in nice condition, but I no longer have any friends.
So, is it a retro market for people who want to relive their misspent youth?
There is a huge element of buying the stuff that perhaps your parents couldn't afford when you were younger. I mean, I want to get a hold of a Vectrex, which is one of the systems that I couldn't get hold of when I was younger, and I certainly will get hold of one now. So I think there is a lot of that to it.
I'm looking for things that either I wanted as a kid and my mum wouldn't buy, or stuff that I would have wanted if I was a kid now. Pull my talking ring. What a quality merchandise.
And do leisure and toy industries tap into this new resource?
When I was a kid, toys and collectibles were made for kids, whereas now a lot of the companies realise that it's people in their 20s and 30s who are collecting them, so they aim them at us.
A lot of the stuff that we actually stock now is aimed at and is bought by adults.
But why are grown adults indulging themselves in such youthful pursuits? Is it an attempt to return to the safe haven of childhood, or are they just good old-fashioned geeks?
I think psychologists would probably say it is regressing. You go back to the childhood and it's a very safe place. But I think it's more than that. It's a change in culture. It's not something that is weird or out of the ordinary. It's just something that you can do now.
5-10 years ago, there was a sort of an element of, I don't know, they're slightly odd. But I think with the growth of merchandising, I don't think it's seen as particularly unusual anymore.
In London, you could ride around on a rally chopper or a scooter. If you were a kid in the late 70s and you didn't have a rally chopper, you really weren't going anywhere, and no one will say anything to you. I think more and more people are admitting to being big kids, whereas it was always looked as being a very geeky thing. Now I suppose they've realised that there's almost like a whole industry behind it making money, and it's produced some pretty cool stuff that's influenced sort of culture as a whole. It's okay to like now.
Ah, so the kidults are simply in touch with their youth. Something that Rufus Dayglow has decided to make a more permanent fixture.
I've been a lifelong fan of comics, and it seemed like a reasonably good idea at the time to get comics tattooed on me. This is the work of a guy called Jack Kirby, who did most of the sort of US stuff during the 60s and 70s. And the other guy whose work I really liked was Mike McMahon, who did Judge Dredd. So I got him tattooed down my back.
So will the kidults be around forever? Or one day will we all just have to grow up?
I don't think it will stop. I mean, we will probably become, the more we become a leisure society, the more significance childhood will have.
I think if it's fun and enjoyable, why stop?
I hope we don't have to grow up, because I would be really disappointed. I wouldn't know what to do. Some people are just born old and boring, but I just want to play with things, and I don't see any problem with that.